years, the stars of Storage Wars bid on abandoned lockers. But today, many of their own lives look abandoned. One star suffered 2 heart attacks and lost everything. Another was arrested for domestic violence. A third nearly died in a motorcycle crash. Some went from TV fame to driving delivery trucks, while others secretly built million-dollar empires. What happened to these reality stars after the cameras stopped rolling is darker than anything they ever filmed. Number 1. Dave Hester.
Why were you? I'm just saying what I saw. I just say what I saw. Well, you want to know what? You're starting trouble.
You didn't see anything.
Dave Hester's journey after Storage Wars was far from ordinary. In 2012, he shocked the entire reality TV world by filing a $3.75 million lawsuit against A&E. His claims were explosive. According to Dave, producers staged the show by planting valuable items inside lockers just to create fake drama. One of his biggest examples was a locker filled with newspapers announcing Elvis Presley's death, valued at over $90,000. Yet he bought it for only $750. For Dave, that was no coincidence. He went further, alleging that producers sometimes staged entire units with luxury cars, antiques, and hidden treasures. He even claimed they handed cash to other bidders so they could win lockers they couldn't normally afford. When Dave protested and said it felt illegal, producers fired him. Just like that, he was out. The legal battle that followed was messy. At first, things looked grim. In early 2013, a judge dismissed most of his claims, casting doubt on his entire case. But just a few months later, still in 2013, another judge allowed the wrongful termination claim to move forward. That ruling kept the fight alive. What started as a crushing defeat suddenly turned into a drawn-out legal war. The lawsuit dragged on until 2014, when both sides quietly settled. The details were never revealed, and A&E continued to deny ever staging anything. After the dust settled, Dave never returned to television. Instead, he went back to basics, running real storage auctions across California. No cameras, no catchphrases, no manufactured drama, just the raw sound of an auctioneer calling bids. In 2023, he hosted a major event in San Luis Obispo with more than 75 units up for grabs. Many bidders didn't even recognize him, or if they did, they didn't bring up his TV past. But real life was no less dramatic. In 2020, Dave paid nearly $12,000 for a storage unit that Public Storage later claimed should never have been sold. The renter had already cleared their debt, but the system hadn't updated in time. Dave demanded either the unit or his money back. Public Storage refused. The dispute went to court, and Dave lost, along with his money and legal fees. For a man trying to rebuild his life after TV, it was another painful blow. Through it all, Dave kept his personal life away from the spotlight. He married Donna Hester, though little is known about how they met. Together they have a son, but he stays completely out of the public eye. Dave made one thing clear. After the chaos of lawsuits and the glare of reality TV fame, he wanted something simple: peace, privacy, and a steady life. Number 2. Barry Weiss. Barry Weiss was never about the drama or the money. He was always the collector, quirky, stylish, and different from everyone else. When Storage Wars was at its peak in 2013, Barry shocked fans by walking away. Most people would have stayed for the spotlight and the paychecks, but not Barry. He wanted to quit while he was still on top and return to what he jokingly called being a professional slacker. Still, Barry wasn't completely done with television. In 2014, he starred in Buried Treasure, though it lasted only 8 episodes. A year later, he tried again with Barry Strikes Back, which ran for 10 episodes. After that, Barry slipped out of the spotlight until tragedy struck. In April 2019, Barry and a friend were riding motorcycles in Los Angeles when a car slammed into them. The crash was brutal. Barry's chest and legs were crushed, requiring multiple surgeries. He spent days in the ICU, fighting through excruciating pain. Fans were shocked as updates trickled out from his close friend Jamie, who shared hospital posts. For Barry, it wasn't just a physical battle, it forced him to rethink everything: his fame, his lifestyle, and his future. When he finally recovered, Barry didn't chase reality TV fame again. He didn't return to the auction scene. Instead, he reinvented himself. Barry became the face of Sherwood Valley Casino, lending his voice and presence to promotional campaigns across Northern California. It wasn't just another gig, it was a second act. Barry turned a near-death experience into a chance to rewrite his story, proving he was always more than just a reality star. Number 3. Darrell Sheets. On Storage Wars, Darrell Sheets was famously known as the Gambler. He was the guy who would throw caution to the wind, chasing big wins and taking enormous risks in every storage unit. But when the cameras turned off,
I called Renee, I said I need some couches and some tables and stuff like that. I came down here to the Bargain Hunter.
Darrell faced a gamble unlike any he had seen before, a battle for his own life. For a few months in early 2019, he had been feeling off, but kept it to himself. Then one day, his body finally gave out. He suffered not one but 2 heart attacks. At the age of 60, the doctors delivered shocking news: congestive heart failure and severe lung problems. What made it crueler, he had just lost over 100 pounds using Nutrisystem, thinking he was finally getting healthier. Yet while the outside looked better, the inside was falling apart. From a hospital bed, Darrell shared a raw message with his fans. He spoke about the heart attack, the hidden illness, the emergency surgery, and how terrifying it all had been. The experience forced him to reevaluate everything: auctions, fame, money. They suddenly all felt insignificant. His personal life went through upheaval too. His fiancée, who had stood by him during the crisis, eventually parted ways with him. Later, he reconnected with his ex-wife, Kimber Wierfel, whom he had divorced in 2016. By 2021, they celebrated what he described as their 10-year anniversary, posting online that they were just 2 kids happy to be together again. Darrell left California behind, moving to Lake Havasu City, Arizona. There he opened a small shop called Show Me Your Junk. No more high-stakes auctions, no more chasing legendary collectibles. Now he spends peaceful days by the lake, often with his new girlfriend, Patty Rich, who owns vineyards and restaurants. The man who once discovered 4 Picassos in a single storage unit or a priceless comic book stash is now someone who embraces calm and contentment. The gambler had stepped away from chaos, and by all appearances, he has never been happier. Number 4. Renee and Casey Nezhoda. Renee and Casey Nezhodas started out as familiar faces on Storage Wars, but they didn't stop there. While most of the cast faded when the show slowed down, Renee and Casey chose a very different path. They leveraged the attention from TV to launch something much bigger, something digital, and that decision changed everything. It all began while they were still on the show. Instead of only focusing on storage units, they turned on their cameras and took the audience behind the scenes. They posted videos on their YouTube channel, Bargain Hunters Thrift, showcasing the items they found, the deals they made, and even glimpses of their personal life. The channel grew rapidly, attracting over 192,000 subscribers.
Writing, I'm sorry.
My writing is excellent. What are you talking about?
Sure. I think my daughter has better handwriting than you.
Their videos about thrifting and storage finds started generating real income. Renee's net worth eventually grew to $1.5 million, mostly from online sales and digital content, not TV. While other cast members were hoping for another season, the Nezhodas were building a new kind of business. They hired employees to list items on eBay. It wasn't just a side hustle, it was a full operation. Renee had actually been selling online since 1995, long before social media took off, giving him a major head start. One of their boldest moves came in 2021. They closed their physical store in Poway, California, which had been running for over 10 years and measured 7,000 square feet. But when the lease ended, they chose not to renew. The store wasn't failing. It was a conscious decision to go fully digital. Fans were surprised, but it turned out to be a smart pivot, especially with Storage Wars nearing cancellation. Their online presence became more than just sales. It showed personal, raw moments. After a robbery at their store in 2019, Renee posted a heated video. Thieves had stolen rare coins and baseball cards, and he warned future burglars that he was armed and ready to protect his property. Fans saw a side of him that had never appeared on TV: fierce, protective, and unfiltered. Their content also gave insight into their marriage. When Casey appeared less on the show in 2016, fans speculated about problems. Rumors of divorce spread, but the couple addressed these openly through their videos. They discussed the challenges of working together, raising their daughter, Tatiana, and managing fame. It was messy, honest, and real. Then came the unexpected. In March 2024, their YouTube uploads stopped completely. Their social media remained active, especially Instagram, where they continued sharing glimpses of thrifting and family life. But their main platform went quiet. Fans speculated, was a TV comeback coming, a new business, or something personal? Around the same time, Storage Wars was officially canceled. Perhaps they were planning a new chapter. Perhaps they just needed a break. No one knows for sure. Number 5. Dan and Laura Dotson.
155, 165 here, 175 now. I got 165, 175, 185, 185. She goes, no.
Dan and Laura Dotson became household names thanks to Storage Wars. But their story is far bigger than reality TV. Long before cameras ever rolled, Dan had been working as an auctioneer since 1983. When he met Laura in 1996, she wasn't just his future wife. She became his business partner as well. Together, they built American Auctioneers into a powerhouse, handling everything from storage units and estates to business inventories and legal foreclosures. On average, they conducted 2 auctions a day, 6 days a week. It wasn't just a job, it was their life.
Talking about cars, Randy Cardoon.
Is he like that all the time?
Oh, you should hear him in the morning ordering breakfast, all right.
That life almost came to a sudden halt on June 16, 2014. In the early morning, Laura noticed something was wrong. Dan was mumbling strange things in his sleep. By 7:30 a.m., he was awake but confused, seeing double and feeling dizzy. After a shower, he collapsed. He had stopped breathing. Laura immediately called 911, followed the operator's CPR instructions, and waited as paramedics rushed Dan to the hospital. Doctors told her that Dan had suffered a double brain aneurysm, with a survival chance between 4 and 20%. Surgery had to be done immediately. Miraculously, Dan pulled through. Recovery was slow and painful, but his determination never wavered. He pushed through months of therapy just to return to what he loved: auctioneering. That scare changed both of them. They became more focused on family, more grateful for each moment, and even more committed to the business they built together. In 2015, they expanded online by acquiring StorageAuctions.net, entering the digital auction world across the US and Canada. Laura's net worth, estimated at $4.5 million, reflected years of dedication, not just from Storage Wars, but from decades in the auction industry. It's no surprise that Examiner.com once said, Dan and Laura Dotson inspired Storage Wars. Without them, the show might never have existed. But life kept testing them. In September 2020, their son Garrett was shot in the chest in Arizona. The Dotsons were devastated, but Garrett survived, recovered, and now shares glimpses of his adventurous life online. Fast cars, boats, and skiing. Clearly, he inherited his parents' strength and resilience. These challenges only made the Dotsons more committed to giving back. They donated their time and auctioneering services to charities, especially those supporting children and education. One major event took place in August 2019 aboard the USS Zumwalt destroyer, raising funds for the U.S. Navy. Just a few months later, they hosted another large event at Real Housewives star Kyle Richards' home, raising over $100,000 for charity, even filmed by Bravo TV. Number 6. Brandi Passante and Jarrod Schulz.
I told you, so watch your feet.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, are you okay?
Brandi Passante and Jarrod Schulz were once seen as reality TV's power couple. Fans watched them argue, laugh, and hustle through dusty storage units on Storage Wars for years. But once the cameras stopped rolling, their lives took a turn no one expected. After the 12th season ended in 2018, Brandi made a life-changing decision. She ended her long relationship with Jarrod, but she kept it quiet. For nearly 3 years, no one knew they had split. Then in April 2021, during the show's return, the truth came out. Brandi later described that relationship as a very difficult situation. She said she had lost her identity for many years, and fans were shocked. Behind the scenes, her life wasn't what it seemed. Things became even more serious in April 2021. That month, she ran into Jarrod at a bar in Orange County. It should have been just another night out, but it ended in violence. Brandi asked him to leave. Instead, he shouted and pushed her, twice. By the time police arrived, Jarrod was gone. But the damage was done. The district attorney charged him with misdemeanor domestic violence. This wasn't just a celebrity breakup, it was something much deeper and darker. Brandi also opened up about raising their 2 kids, Cameron and Peyton, mostly by herself. She said she was already doing it alone before the split. "I did a lot of it on my own anyway," she said during a Facebook Live chat. She has full custody now. "It's the scary dad voice in the background that we're missing," she added. But even with all the pain, Brandi moved forward. She launched a YouTube podcast called Happening Now with Hammer. She found a new partner, Clifford Beaver, and recent reports in May 2025 suggest marriage might be on the horizon. From feeling invisible to taking control of her life, Brandi's transformation has been nothing short of remarkable. Jarrod's story went in the opposite direction. After 2019, he was no longer a regular on Storage Wars. His only return was a brief appearance in 2021. But the vibe had changed. He and Brandi kept their distance, and viewers could feel the tension. That same year, the bar incident shook everything. Jarrod denied the claims, but he left the scene before police arrived. Fans who once saw the couple as funny and loving were stunned. He had been on the show since 2010, and even starred in a spin-off called Brandi and Jarrod, Married to the Job, in 2014. But by 2021, his reputation had crumbled. After his exit from television, Jarrod stayed quiet. No more shows, no interviews. Instead, he focused on a new business. He now owns Rush Bar and Grill in Lake Forest, California. It's a big shift from reality TV fame. Social media hints that he's dating someone new, but he hasn't said much about the split or the charges. His old business, the Now and Then thrift store, didn't survive either. The Long Beach branch closed in 2016 because it never made a profit. What started as a fun, flashy TV duo became a cautionary tale. Brandi rebuilt her life. Jarrod stepped away from the spotlight. Number 7. Ivy Calvin.
I was just reaching there and just twist them like, "You're not right."
Well, gently though. Gently.
Ivy Calvin wasn't just another face on Storage Wars. When the cameras stopped rolling, his real journey began. He turned his reality TV fame into something bigger, something built to last. In 2009, just 1 year after entering the storage locker business, he opened his own thrift store called Grandma's Attic. It wasn't your average secondhand shop. This place stayed open from 10 in the morning until midnight, and sometimes even until 3 a.m., almost every single day. That kind of grind made his store a magnet for customers. People came in constantly, and items flew off the shelves just as fast as they came in. By the time he joined Storage Wars in 2012, Ivy had already laid the foundation for a business empire. And within a few years, his efforts paid off. His net worth climbed to around $1.5 million, thanks to both the show and the profits from Grandma's Attic. Every weekend, the store became an event. Yard sales were held on Saturdays and Sundays, offering rare finds from the show. Fans and bargain hunters traveled from all over California just to get a piece of it. But it wasn't just luck. Ivy had a plan. He didn't just wait for local auctions. He traveled whenever he had to, hunting for deals. With 16 years of experience under his belt, he was nearly impossible to trick. While others tried to play mind games at auctions, Ivy stayed cool and calculated. He also knew how to keep people talking. The store's Facebook page wasn't just for fun. It was business. He used it to keep his audience engaged, promote events, and show off new treasures. Behind the scenes, Ivy was building a machine that kept running day and night. At home, things were just as carefully thought out. Ivy married Wendy in 2014, and together they focused on raising their 2 sons, Ivy Jr. and Isaiah. But this wasn't just about family dinners and vacations. Ivy brought his boys into the business. Both sons appeared on Storage Wars during season 13. He even let them lead bidding on storage units. It wasn't just trust, it was training. He was grooming them to take over. Off camera, their life was filled with outdoor adventures. Hunting and fishing trips became more than just hobbies. They were bonding moments. They taught the boys about patience, persistence, and teamwork, values Ivy had relied on his whole life. The lessons from the wilderness mirrored the lessons from the business world. Ivy wanted his sons to be ready for both. Before any of this, Ivy had lived a completely different life. In 1995, he played arena football for the San Jose SaberCats. He ran for 75 yards, scored a touchdown, caught a few passes, and made 4 tackles in just 7 games. Later, he even tried his hand at MMA. Those sports shaped how he thought, how he competed, and how he stayed tough when things got hard. That mental strength carried over into every bid he made and every decision he took as a businessman. Despite his fame, Ivy never let the spotlight get too bright. Yes, he posts about cool items like Star Wars collectibles and Baby Yoda merchandise, but he doesn't overshare. His wife Wendy keeps a low profile. The one major public appearance she made was with him in 2014 at the Reality Wanted Awards. That's it. Everything else? Kept private. Ivy had seen what fame could do. He chose to keep control. Number 8. Barry Passante.
Oh, now I remember. I just hope I can make something out of this nothing.
Barry Passante faced a rougher path. When the show went on pause in 2019, she was in a tough spot. Her store, Mary's Finds, had been a fan magnet in Texas. People loved her style, turning old junk into beautiful home pieces. But with no show and global events slowing everything down, foot traffic dried up. In 2020, she shut her shop. That could have been the end. But Mary pivoted fast. She moved everything online. Fans followed. When she listed vintage items online, they sold out in minutes. Her television fame now worked in the digital world. She didn't need a physical shop anymore. Behind the scenes, Mary's private life remained a mystery. For years, people wondered if she was dating anyone. Turns out she was. Her partner's name is Dylan. They met years ago and kept things quiet. He even appeared on Storage Wars in 2017, but no one knew they were a couple. They've kept it private, posting only small glimpses, photos, hangouts, little moments together. It was rare for someone in the public eye, but it worked for Mary. Then came something no one expected: Kenya. Mary got involved with Ubuntu Life, a nonprofit that helps kids with neurological conditions and supports local women through fair trade crafts. She didn't just donate money, she helped design products. One of their biggest hits was the Joy Bracelet, handmade. Number 9. Brandon Sheets. Brandon Sheets didn't expect his life to change so suddenly. One day, he was a familiar face on Storage Wars, bidding on dusty units beside his dad. Then in 2016, everything stopped. After 9 seasons and 163 episodes, he was fired. No warm goodbye, no send-off, just a quiet exit. followed by a bitter post on social media. He said A&E dropped him for budget reasons, yet they still followed him online, still wanted free content from him. Fans were stunned. Brandon had been there since the very first episode back in 2010. They called him the side bet, the young guy backing up his dad, Darrell the Gambler Sheets. But suddenly, he wasn't part of the show anymore. It hit hard. A&E decided to keep Darrell, the bigger character, and let Brandon go. It wasn't just a job, it was his identity for nearly a decade. So what now? For Brandon, it meant starting over from scratch. He moved to Queen Creek, Arizona. No more cameras, no more bidding wars. Instead, he got his real estate license and joined Keller Williams. Then in 2022, something even more surprising happened. He picked up another job, driving for UPS. From reality TV fame to working 2 jobs in real estate and logistics. It wasn't glamorous, but it was honest work, and it paid the bills. Brandon's personal life shifted too. He married Melissa in 2015. They'd already welcomed their daughter Adeline in 2011, and in 2019, their son Layden Sean was born. Online, Brandon poked fun at his new suburban life. He created a mini parody show called Average Middle Class Life, mocking MTV Cribs. No mansions or gold chains, just pancakes, BBQ chicken, and jokes about fatherhood. The fame was gone, but the humor wasn't. Then in June 2024, tragedy nearly struck. Brandon survived a serious car accident. It could have ended his story right there, but he pulled through, just like he had when the show ended. His dad's own health scare, heart attack and heart failure in 2019, probably added even more urgency to Brandon's new path. Family came first now. Fame was no longer the goal. Today, his net worth is around $300,000. Not flashy, but solid. And it's all built from real work, not TV drama. Number 10, Kenny Crossley.
Boom, shakalaka. I'm happy with that, bro. You got yourself a deal there, sir.
Kenny Crossley took a different route. He used Storage Wars as a launchpad. Born in 1973 in Mississippi, he was already in his 40s when he joined the show, a former sheriff's deputy turned storage hunter. But no one expected what came next. Kenny didn't just chase abandoned lockers, he built an empire. His biggest shock? Music. For more than 12 years, he's been making beats and producing tracks. Under names like Kenny Do It and Dual Personality, he's worked with underground artists like Little Daddy. Music wasn't just a side gig, it became a serious part of his life. And somehow, he balanced it with TV and everything else. Kenny also turned Uber into a money-making machine, not just through rides, through content. His series, Kenny's Uber Adventures, went viral. He filmed his rides, reviewed food, and posted it all online. While driving, he was also building a YouTube audience. He even reviewed Costco hot dogs and apple fritters during shifts. It was smart. He got paid for driving and for content. One job fed another. Then came the merch. Kenny Do It shirts sold online for $25 each. He also became the self-proclaimed Praline King, running a small business selling Southern sweets. His clothing store, his food content, his music, all added up. By 2021, his net worth hit $2 million. Not bad for someone who started out managing a storage facility. And there you have it. Behind the auctions, beyond the cameras, the real lives of your favorite Storage Wars stars. From triumphs to heartbreaks, and comebacks that defy the odds, these stories prove that life is always full of surprises, sometimes even bigger than what's hiding in a dusty locker. If you enjoyed uncovering the real stories, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And remember, the next big discovery might not be in a storage unit. It could be right in the journey of the people who opened them.